Attention passionate Atlanta, Falcons fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC South and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Atlanta Falcons' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Atlanta Falcons fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Atlanta, FALCONS, FANS. Let's get to the news now. Let's talk about one of the most intriguing rumors swirling around the NFC South right now. Vita Vea potentially heading from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to the Atlanta Falcons. Yeah, you heard that right. This isn't just some idle speculation. Sources close to the situation suggest that the Bucs, who are currently sitting at a disappointing 4-7 record, are seriously considering parting ways with their star defensive tackle in a move that could shake up the division big time. It's a bold strategy, but one that could redefine the Falcons' defensive front and give them a serious edge in the trenches moving forward. The Buccaneers, as many of you know, have been struggling defensively this season. Their defense has been leaking points, surrendering roughly 6 points per game, which is way above the standards they set in previous years. The secondary and linebackers haven't been as sharp, and the front line has been underperforming, especially in stopping the run. Tampa Bay has about $13 million in cap space available, but with players like Chris Godwin pending a contract extension and pressing needs along the edge and in the secondary, they're facing some tough decisions. It's no secret that the Bucs are in a bit of a rebuild mode, especially on the offensive line, which has seen some significant turnover as they try to rebuild that unit. This is where Vita Vea comes into focus. The towering nose tackle, drafted in 2018, has been a cornerstone for Tampa Bay's defense for years. Vea is a literal space eater, a leviathan in the middle of the line who excels at clogging running lanes and collapsing pockets. His presence alone elevates the entire defense, especially against the run. Over his career, Vea has accumulated impressive stats, over 280 solo tackles, 150 assists, and close to 28 sacks. He's a disruptive force, constantly drawing double teams, which frees up others to make plays. This season, Vea's been exceptional once again, with a PFF grade around 89.0, and he's been instrumental in boosting Tampa Bay's run defense, which has improved by about 13% this year. The rumors suggest that Tampa Bay might be willing to trade Vea for a first-round pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, with the Falcons being a prime candidate to make that deal happen. Why the Falcons? Well, Atlanta has been looking to solidify the interior of their defensive line, especially after losing Grady Jarrett to injury. With the Falcons sitting at 4-7, they're in a position where they need to make bold moves to push for a playoff spot, and adding a player of Vea's caliber would be a game-changer. His ability to anchor the line, stop the run, and disrupt passing plays would complement their existing defensive personnel perfectly. Let's not forget that the Falcons have been one of the more balanced teams this season, with a potent offense led by the young quarterback Desmond Ridder, and a defense that's been trending upward. But they still lack that dominant interior presence who can consistently clog running lanes and collapse the pocket on passing downs. Vea would be exactly that, an interior force that can elevate the unit from good to elite. From a tactical perspective, adding Vea would allow the Falcons to be more aggressive on defense, especially in situations where they need to stop the run early in games or in crucial third-and-short scenarios. His size and strength make him nearly impossible to move, and his quick get-offs help him penetrate the line, creating pressure and freeing up linebackers to make plays. It's a perfect fit in the Falcons' defensive scheme, which has shown a lot of promise under coordinator Dean Pease. Vea's presence would also reduce the load on players like Grady Jarrett once he returns, helping keep him fresh for the postseason. Now, just imagine the impact this could have on the NFC South. The division has been pretty competitive this year, with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers still in the mix despite their struggles, the Carolina Panthers trying to find consistency, and the New Orleans Saints always dangerous with their talented roster. But if the Falcons acquire Vea, it could tip the scales significantly in their favor. They'd be adding a player who regularly grades out as one of the best run defenders in the league, and his presence would force opponents to rethink their game plan when facing Atlanta. Statistically, Vea's 2024 season has been pretty remarkable. In 11 games, he's recorded 35 solo tackles, 20 assists, and 5 sacks. His PFF grade remains high at 87, 5, and he's been a key player in Tampa Bay's improved run defense, which has allowed just 40 yards per carry, an increase of 20% from previous years. His ability to generate pressure, averaging around 2.5 pressures per game, disrupts the timing of quarterbacks, giving Atlanta's secondary a better chance to make plays on the ball. And let's not forget how his interior presence can help the Falcons generate more sacks overall, projected to increase from around 12 to 30 if V joins the team, creating a nightmare scenario for opposing offenses. The potential acquisition also carries some strategic considerations. Tampa Bay, needing to rebuild along their offensive line, might be prioritizing cap space and draft capital rather than holding on to V, especially if they believe they can rebuild through draft picks and free agency. The fact that they're also looking to rebuild their offensive line suggests they're willing to part ways with some veteran players to free up cap room and draft picks. The trade market for a player of V's caliber is rare, and the Falcons could see this as a perfect opportunity to strike. From Atlanta's perspective, this move could be transformative. Not only would it bolster the run defense and interior pass rush, but it could also serve as a statement to the NFC South that the Falcons are serious contenders. A dominant interior line combined with the existing pass rushers like Arnold Ebukti or possibly a reinvigorated Grady Jarrett once he returns from injury would make life miserable for quarterbacks in the division. The Falcons could immediately improve their defensive efficiency, reducing points allowed and creating more turnovers, which is crucial when facing divisional rivals like the Bucs, Panthers, and Saints. Looking ahead, this move could also have implications for the Falcons' playoff chances. The odds of making a deep run, including a Super Bowl appearance, could increase significantly with a player like V anchoring their defense. His ability to change the game from the inside out can swing close games in Atlanta's favor, especially in the playoffs where every play counts. Plus, his presence would elevate the team's overall defensive grade, pushing them into the upper echelon of NFL defenses, something Atlanta has been striving for over the past few seasons. Of course, there are hurdles. The Buccaneers would want a substantial return, and convincing them to part ways with V isn't a small feat. It would likely require a first-round pick, maybe even more, depending on Tampa's valuation. The Falcons would need to weigh that against their current draft capital and roster needs, but if they're serious about contending now, this could be the move that pushes them over the edge. It would send a message that they're all in on a Super Bowl run, regardless of what the skeptics might say. In conclusion, the potential trade of Vita V from Tampa Bay to Atlanta is a game-changing rumor that fans should keep a close eye on. It's a move that could elevate the Falcons' defense, especially the run-stopping interior, and serve as a catalyst for a deep playoff push. The NFC South is already competitive, but with V anchoring their line, Atlanta could set themselves apart and start a new era of dominance in the trenches. The possibility of him transforming the Falcons into a trench dynasty, much like the great defenses of the past, is a tantalizing thought. The Bucs might be culling their roster for cap and rebuild reasons, but for Atlanta, landing V could be the final piece they need to solidify their championship ambitions. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Atlanta Falcons news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. Now Falcons fans, what do you think about this? Could Vita V genuinely be on his way to Atlanta? Would he be the difference maker that takes us from a good team to a true Super Bowl contender? I want to hear your thoughts, your predictions, and how you see this playing out. Drop your comments below and let's get this discussion going. Remember, the offseason is full of surprises, and this one could be a game changer. I'll be back soon with even more updates and insights, so stay tuned for the latest Atlanta Falcons news. Keep the faith, keep the passion, and let's make some noise, because the future of the Falcons might just be about to change forever.